Right up here.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Mirowitz Center and the St. Louis County Library co-sponsor today. We have Farid, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it. Okay, Saboorizadeh, a staff trainer at the St. Louis County Library, where he has been employed for more than 5 years. Prior to his selection as staff trainer, he worked at the library as a computer lab trainer, where his primary responsibilities included creating training materials and teaching classes for residents of St. Louis County. He is regarded as the go-to trainer for St. Louis County Library. Participants in his classes love Farid's patient and enthusiastic demeanor. He provides technical information adults can use both personally and professionally. He holds a bachelor's degree from University of Missouri St. Louis, and he also serves in the Missouri Air National Guard as Combat Communications Radio Frequency Transmission Systems Technician. Please welcome Farid.
Hi, how are you all doing? Thank you for attending and thank you for allowing the St. Louis County Library to provide some outreach services and just this training opportunity. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully there'll be a little bit more collaboration in the future as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a few things that I want to talk about and a few things that we'll go over with today. How everyone doing good? Everyone doing okay today? Showing nods. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. That is good. All right. Well, thank you for that introduction. Let's first start off talking about some things that are unfortunate in regards to the library changing. So I'm going to share my screen here and I want to pull this up for you. So do you all see a little image that says St. Louis County Library? Yeah, okay. So this is just, I know it's kind of small, I do apologize, but this is something that when we originally scheduled this training months and months ago, the library used or is currently using a service that we're going to be changing. And if you receive some of our emails, you might have actually received this email or you might be aware of this already. But the St. Louis County Library is merging their collection with the St. Louis Public Library. So the St. Louis County Library is the library system for most of St. Louis County. There is a few libraries like Kirkwood, drawing blanks here. There's 9 of them. They're called the Municipal Library Consortium, like Kirkwood, Webster Groves, Ferguson, and a few others, Brentwood, Maplewood. And those library systems are in the county, but they have their own kind of library system. So aside from that, the St. Louis County Library serves patrons that live in the county, St. Louis County. Now, the St. Louis Public Library is another library system that is responsible for the city patrons. So any patron, anyone who lives in the St. Louis City designated area would normally visit St. Louis Public Library or also visit St. Louis County Library and vice versa, but they are also their own kind of library system. And so what's recently been kind of in collaboration to do is the library, St. Louis County Library, along with the St. Louis Public Library, is merging their collections. So that's going to increase a ton of books for everyone. And it's just going to be a really awesome thing. So because of that, they did have to change some of this ways that we did behind the scenes stuff. And a few of those things is the catalog that we currently use is changing to something else on March 17th. So originally, I was going to go over how to use our current catalog and how to quickly kind of go over or reserve books and things like that. But actually starting tomorrow until March 17th or March 16th rather, you won't really be able to do much in terms of putting items on hold. You still can go into the library and check things out. You can still use the computer. You'll still be able to use all of the e-media services that we're going to talk about. However, there is that down period. So I was talking with Judith and hopefully we're going to have scheduled something in the future where I can come back and talk about the new St. Louis County Library catalog, which is significantly easier to use from what I've seen. It really looks like it's very user-friendly. It's intuitive. And it makes a lot more sense in regards to how it works. However, what I do want to say, though, is that you can also always call in our library to place holds on items, to get assistance with how to use our website. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But as far as putting stuff on hold, I would place things on hold today. If you really want to get some books I guess for the next week, and you really like the physical materials, either if you're able to go to the library, St. Louis County Library, one of the branches today or tomorrow, and then on the 9th through the 16th, those services that like putting on hold, you could still go in the library and check things out, of course. But if you want to call and place things on hold, that won't be available until the March 17th. I know that was a lot. It's kind of confusing, but go to the library today or tomorrow to put things on hold if you want, or call the library's main line. So it's 314-994-3300. So 314-994-3300. Or you could simply go to the St. Louis County Library's website, which is just slcl.org. So slcl.org. There you'll find information about contact us. I'll also cover that towards the end, but it's a really good resource that we're going to hopefully touch on later on in regards to navigating it a little bit. Definitely call and place items on hold. I would use that if you're unable to, or just simply because of various reasons. One being the pandemic. You want to try to avoid going and doing more than you need to. Simply call the library's main line, that number that I mentioned, and they will help you to search for items, place them on hold, and then all you'll have to do is come into the library and pick them up whenever you're notified that your hold is ready. Okay, so that's simply the physical aspect of the library. The library has since expanded and offers a plethora amount of services. Physical materials are but one part of a giant amount of resources that libraries offer nowadays, in addition to something we're going to talk about called electronic resources. So I'm going to bring up a presentation that we can go over, and hopefully it will make a little bit more sense. Actually, let me bring it up this way. There we go. And then I will make this into a full screen thing. Perfect. Let me switch this around though, because that is the presenter view, right? Oh, why don't we just do this? We'll just use this one. There we go. All right.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. So the St. Louis County Library offers many different electronic resources. And let's talk about what that means. So an electronic resource can be anything that's really just electronic, or digital. So instead of a physical material, something that you can touch and actually use in terms of turning the pages. I really like, turning the pages, that satisfaction of getting to that next page, and the feeling and the smell of books. But at other times, I just for simply of ease like to use electronic media too. When I'm at the doctor's office waiting, just any appointments while I'm waiting. If I'm traveling and I don't want to lug around a ton of books, or just lug books around in general, you can get an electronic copy of it. And it's, depending on the device that you use, we'll talk a little bit about those. But if you have an e-reader device or a tablet that you have, you can put thousands and thousands of books on that, and it only weighs the same no matter what, right? So if you had a ton of books that you wanted to go through, that would probably be your whole luggage there, or your carry-on. So depending on how long you're staying or how many books you would like to read, this is a great resource. And a lot of people are just simply transferring to electronic media because of the comfort of their home. So you can get these all digital copies of the books. They're the exact same books, the way that they look, except for you have more control over things like the font. You can make the font larger. You can change the font color. There's a font for dyslexic folk. So all different types of things you can do electronically that is limited in the physical material. So a lot of different reasons to use it. And not only books that we offer, but you could see media can refer to many other different types of things. Audiobooks, these are books that are read out loud, and you listen to them on your phone, on an iPod type device, your tablet, all different kinds of ways to listen to audiobooks. And those are really fun. I like to listen to audiobooks like while I'm on my way to work or at the airport. Not that I travel very much, but at the airport, if you're waiting, just to kind of have something going on in the background, or listening to something, keeping my mind stimulated. There's also magazines. This is huge. A lot of the printed magazines, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people touching them. Maybe you don't really want to get involved with that, or just in general, there's maybe not the copy that is available that you're looking for because someone else has it checked out, or you want the most current version of a magazine. And typically that's a little bit more restricted if you're into magazines. You might know that from the library. So this is a really great resource. You can store a ton of magazines. And not only can you store a ton of magazines, but you can go back in time to copies that are not available in print at the library anymore. So however much you're paying for magazines or books, all that stuff you can get electronically and get them for free. All of these resources are free as long as you have a St. Louis County Library card, and you don't have to pay a penny for you. As much, you can use it as much as you want in terms of certain services, especially the one I'm going to talk about. Now, some services are limited in regards to how many checkouts you can get, but we'll cover that in a little bit here shortly. The other things that are available are movies, music, and if you're into comics as well. Lots of TV shows, lots of British TV shows like from Acorn. My mom loves it. She loves the murder mystery, Channel 9 kind of stuff. They have a good amount of that. Also, just we'll talk about a service that has over 40,000 items on it. And if you are familiar with the service Netflix, Netflix has roughly at one time 7,000 to 8,000 titles available. And it doesn't include each individual episode, for instance, just titles in general. So a title would just be something like, I don't know, a recent show, The Witcher. That's the one I've watched recently. So that would count as a one item, not necessarily each episode, right? So they have 7,000 to 8,000 titles at one time. One of the services we're going to talk about, Canopy, has over 40,000 titles, and it is a great resource. They have a lot of indie media. They do a lot for just Heritage Month. They do a lot for Holocaust Remembrance, for Latino Month, Heritage Month, Black History Month. They do a lot of remembrance, Women's Month, Women's History, just a ton of stuff. It's such a rich resource that you can use. We'll talk more about it. It's called Canopy, and it has a ton of TV shows. It has the Great Courses. If you're familiar with the Great Courses, those are typically hundreds of dollars to enroll yourself in and use, and you can use those and in an unlimited capacity. So we'll talk more about that. All right, so we talked a little bit about this. Again, why would you use eMedia? You can access it anywhere, anytime. Some titles are only available electronically, and sometimes that's really not up to even us. It's really up to the publishers. And there's a weird kind of politic thing that goes along with how publishers work with certain companies that we're going to talk about. And it's really unfortunate, but some titles, like from Amazon, if Amazon is a direct publisher or they have an agreement with a publishing company, may only be available on Amazon or only available in a certain format. But a lot of titles, most of the time, I would say the vast majority of the time, titles are available electronically or may only be available electronically. So one thing is sometimes a book doesn't get checked out and it is taking up. So a little bit about the way that the St. Louis County Library system works is that it is a popular library system. And what that means is we hold on to the items that you all want the most. So we really aren't going to hold on to other things that aren't really checking out, because we want to make more space for the items that you want and need. So making more room for those, ordering more copies of those. And it's kind of cool that we're becoming a consortium with the public library, because they are an archive library. So titles that we no longer have, or maybe we got rid of, or are really old titles, the public has, right? They don't get rid of anything. It goes into like a copy or like an archive or something, a vault. I don't know how really too much about it, but if maybe some of you are familiar with the public library and how they operate. So combining those two, I think is going to be so awesome. There's going to be so many titles available, so many physical materials, maybe old copies of things that you haven't seen that's been out of print. Maybe they have some of that stuff. So I think it's going to be really fun, really interesting. However, back to the reason why electronic media might be an option is that titles that maybe aren't available physically, like you go to the library and want to check out a book, or all of those books are on hold and it's going to take a few months or a few weeks to get it, you can try electronically and see if that one is available quicker, or maybe is the only option. And then we talked about the customizing the fonts and how fast you want to listen to an audiobook. Again, there's never any fees for really any library materials unless it's something that was lost. But otherwise, you don't even have to worry about returning them, because they just expire. So they expire after the checkout period ends on your device. Never have to worry about, oh, shoot, did I return that library book? Or what do I do now, kind of thing. Check it out. Once it expires, it just checks itself back in automatically. So I've sent this to Judith if any of you are interested, and I've sent the presentation as well, and a handout that details Overdrive, which we're going to talk about in depth today. And if you're interested in that, maybe she can forward that to you or email that to you. I'm not real sure how that all works.
I can do that.
Awesome. So this is one of those images that I've sent, and it's a much better quality on the version, the digital version I sent to Judith. But this is just a rough outline of the electronic resources that we offer and kind of how each of those work. So let's start on the left. Here we have Overdrive and Libby, and we'll talk about what those two things mean. These are some of the devices that it's available on. So computer, tablet, this is an iPod. These are e-readers. So it's available on pretty much any electronic device. You have the options of ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and videos, and you have checkout periods for them. In my opinion, it makes more sense to just check everything out for 21 days because I don't know, unless you read it really quickly and you want someone else to be able to read it really, I guess, next in line, you can, I guess, choose 7, but just as a safety thing, I kind of choose 21 days. It usually takes me about 21 days to read a book or listen to it, or depending on things. But so there are different ways to adjust those. And again, that's something, if you're interested in, we'll talk more about. You can schedule a one-on-one appointment with a St. Louis County Library computer lab trainer. So there are computer lab trainers available at, or there is a computer lab trainer who is responsible for all 20 of our branches. Some of them split because there isn't enough computer lab trainers for branches. But what I want to say is that if there is a specific branch that you would like to meet at, for instance, Mid-County, Eureka Hills, or Headquarters, or Florissant Valley, or Natural Bridge, or Weber Road, among the other library branches in the St. Louis County Library System, there is a trainer who will meet you there, or we can meet electronically with you. So we can do a voice video thing like this. We can call you. This is an option as well. And again, we can meet in person to go over questions or any issues that you're having with not only electronic media, let me go back there, but also with other devices. If you're having issues with some just another device you're having an issue with, or you wanted a little bit more information. We don't do any tech support, so we can't replace things. We can't adjust settings and things like that on your devices, but we can assist you in finding the resources or directing you to places that would or could be able to help you. Worst case scenario, if you ask for assistance and we're unable to help you, we would find or direct you to a resource, or just simply find an e-learning opportunity that you can use to find that answer. And again, worst cases, sorry, that's not something that we can help in or that I was able to find. But it doesn't really hurt to ask. Worst case, again, is that it's just something we're not able to do, but usually we can find a resource to help you with it most of the time. All right, so that's Overdrive. That is ebooks, so electronic books, audiobooks, we mentioned magazines, videos, and you can check up to 20 at a time. Hoopla and Canopy are resources that are only available to St. Louis County Library District residents. Now, there's a difference in between Overdrive and these two services. Overdrive is available to anyone who has a St. Louis County Library card. So it doesn't matter where you live. You could live in the city and have a St. Louis County Library card because we have a reciprocal agreement. Same thing with if you live in St. Charles and a few other counties around the surrounding St. Louis metropolitan statistical area. You can get a library card for free and use Overdrive. Hoopla and Canopy, because of the cost, is only allowed to be used by St. Louis County Library District residents. So what that means is you live in St. Louis County, but you also pay personal property real estate taxes to the St. Louis County Library District. And sometimes that can get confusing because you might live in Kirkwood, so you're living in the county, but your taxes go to Kirkwood Library. That's okay. Kirkwood Library also has the same resources, specifically Canopy and Hoopla. I don't know if they have both. I know they have one, or they might even have both now, but you could just simply get that resource at that library system instead. If you're ever wondering if you qualify, try it out. And if not, call and we can check out and see what's going on, or look at your account and help you to find where you can get that resource. So most of the reciprocal districts around St. Louis County do have the one or both of these services. Hoopla is really great because it has everything. You can so much stuff, and I love that it has music on there. So if you're interested in getting the newest music, listening to it, so many different genres that are available. You can check it out on there and listen to it on your device. Comics, great for kids and also adults. That's been like, maybe you want to look back on something, or for me, I like Japanese comics. So I like to, occasionally look through those. Movies and TV shows, a lot of things that maybe Canopy doesn't have is available on there. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but one of the big differences between Overdrive and Hoopla and also Canopy is that Overdrive and Libby, or Overdrive, sorry, works like our physical materials work. So we purchase a set number of digital licenses, which can be kind of thought of as a physical copy. So maybe we have 50 physical copies of Harry Potter, and that could also translate to 50 digital licenses. So in other words, 50 people can check out the book online and read it, and 50 people can also read the book in person, right, with the physical book. So those Overdrive works by licenses. And if all 50 of those licenses are being used, in other words, 50 people have checked it out, you would put yourself on a hold list for that, just like you would on a physical book. The nice thing about this, though, is that since it automatically kind of checks itself in, you don't have to worry about if someone, maybe lost a copy of it. Now it's taking a little bit longer, or maybe someone taking a little bit longer to bring it back because we have no fine. So, I'll take it back in a few days, kind of thing. Once their loan period is up, it becomes available to the next person. So it's a lot quicker. So that's the way Overdrive works. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. However, Hoopla and Canopy is limited because everything is available. So if there's something on there that you want to check out and watch or listen to or read, you can get it immediately. The downside to that is you can only check out 10 items a month. So it resets on the first next calendar month. So if you have 10 credits on February 1st and you used all 10, you'll have to wait until March 1st to check more things out. Most of the time, people don't really hit that 10 per month, but if you use it very, very frequently, you definitely will. Try to see if a family member who doesn't use their maybe Hoopla or Canopy account, maybe a spouse, significant other, maybe have their library card also, so that boosts it to 20 per thing. But some of the stuff, like I mentioned before, the Gale Courses, those do not use any of your checkouts, so you can view those in an unlimited capacity. And also anything kids related on Canopy also does not use your checkout limit, so that's kind of cool. The last one we're not really going to talk about, but it has some magazines available that maybe Overdrive doesn't have. You can check Flipster to see if there's a magazine available in there. I think a lot of the time you can find what you're looking for in Overdrive, but that's another resource to think about that you can use if there's a specific magazine that you're not finding. Maybe you can check Flipster and see if it's available on there. All right, so the way that accounts work, they're tracked separately. So you would need to kind of, if you're into keeping, like I think most people are keeping track of what things you've checked out so that you can look back on a list and see, oh, I've already read that, or that's something that I've already listened to, instead of going through the process of reading it. And you're like, oh, this is really familiar. Oh, shoot, I've already read this. Let me go find another one. So you can track that, but it's done separately and it's done on each individual service. So your Overdrive checkouts are done on Overdrive. Your Hoopla and Canopy ones are done on those services specifically. And those don't get tracked from your physical copies. So for instance, if you go into the library and if you even call the library and ask, how many items can I check out left, or how many items do I have checked out? What do I have checked out? It wouldn't be something we'd be able to answer because it's specific to your digital account. Your physical copies, physical stuff, that's separate. We can definitely look up for you. Talked a little bit about what Overdrive is. All right, a little bit more about the way that Overdrive works. You can check up to 20 titles at one time. So that means at once, just like you would check out 20 books, to me is a lot. I know there's one person I met in the 5 years of working at the library that consistently had close to 18, 19, 20 at a time and actually read them all. I don't know how they did it. I can barely keep up with reading 2 books and getting confused. That's just me. I know most people are able to read more than a few at a time, but anyways, you can borrow 20 titles at one time. So if you want to check out that many, maybe for vacation, you can do that. And then once you return one or return all 20, you can check out 20 more titles. So that's not a hard limit per month. It's just at one time. We talked about copies and availability. Now, the nice thing about magazines, you can check out as many magazines as you want, and you can hold on to them as long as you want. So you want that specific version of or edition of a magazine, you can have it forever. As long as you don't delete it off of your device, it's available on there forever. Now, checkouts do differ. So ebooks, audiobooks, and magazines can be checked out for 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days. And that's something that you would adjust in your settings. Now, default is set to 14 days. If you want help with that, please give us a call or set up a book a trainer appointment, which I'm going to show you how to submit towards the end. And we can help you get that setting so you won't have to do it any other time after that. Just going to assume you want 21 days on every book that you check out, or audiobook or magazine. Magazine, that really doesn't make too much sense because You know, it's an unlimited amount. Checkouts are unlimited. Oh, maybe so. I was wrong on that. I apologize. Checkouts are unlimited. There's as many as you want, but it gets returned back after 21 days. There was that change. Sorry. I was gone for about 8 months for military leave, and a lot happened during that time. So I do apologize. 21 days is the limit for magazines as well. All right. The next thing is what you need. So you need your library card. You need your PIN. Your PIN is something that you might have set or maybe not have set. Now, when the library transfers over to the new the new service that we're using, that's going to affect that down period. So we're transitioning. We have that down period. After that down period, starting on March 17th, your PIN, because of the way that it's stored, so we are really up on our security and privacy. Your PIN is encrypted, so we can't even see what it is. We can only reset it. So once your PIN gets entered into the computer, it becomes encrypted, which means it looks like a bunch of gobbledygook. It's like a bunch of random letters and numbers that the computer knows what it means, but humans can't decipher. And so because of that, it wasn't able to be transferred over into the new system. So that your PIN is actually going to be set to the last 4 digits of your phone number that is registered in the library system. Otherwise, if you don't have a phone number, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, for assistance with that, you can always call us and we can assist you with that. And in addition, the PIN is something that you might already know, typically 1, 2, 3, 4, or four digits that you might have set in the past. All right. You will also need some type of electronic device. So most of you are on some type of electronic device to access this presentation. So you could use that device typically to access that service, such as Overdrive. You also need an initial internet connection for some of the services. So if you don't have an internet connection, looks like most of you have one. If you don't have an internet connection, you can always come to the library. We even have hotspots that you can check out. A hotspot is a portable internet. It's basically something that's like a phone, but the only use for it is to provide internet for you. So you can connect your laptop, your tablet, whatever to it, and you can get internet. And the library has those available for checkout. It connects to like a cellular tower, and if you're going on a trip or if you're in a forest or something, you don't have service, you don't have internet, it's definitely something worth looking into. Now, the way that you access Overdrive is somewhat extensive. So what I would do is think about which device you really want to access this on or have an idea of. And even further, you can kind of keep track of the devices that you have and then schedule an appointment with one of the computer lab trainers at the St. Louis County Library. And we can offer assistance or advice on ways to access it, the most efficient or easiest way to access it, and give you the best experience for what you're trying to use or read. And that's something that could be more personal in an appointment. So unfortunately, we can't go into all of the different ways. It would literally take hours. We would be here early afternoon going over just Overdrive, the different ways and how to get those set up. It's not very difficult. It's just a process. And the process does take some time. If you're really savvy with technology, it might take you 5-10 minutes, but it might also, you could expect it taking up to half an hour to go over those things or explain certain things over the phone or via video chat or kind of a Zoom presentation like this, or in person. So whichever you prefer. And in any case, so I'm not going to go into specifics on each device, but just know that most devices are accessible. And one of the things that I want to go over now, you kind of talked about, we kind of went over Libby, and it's very confusing for a lot of people. So I want to clarify what it is. You can think of Overdrive as a service, as an e-media service. Overdrive is the company that provides all of the electronic resources that we talked about. The best thing to do is to just, so you can access it in a few different ways, right? You can go through the website and read it on a computer that way. And you can use on tablets and smartphones what are called apps. So an app is a single purpose program that you use to do things like calculator app. You can calculate things. The phone app, you can call people. Candy Crush, you could play Candy Crush, right? Those are all apps. You would want to download the Libby app. And the reason why I say that is because Overdrive is soon going to be phased out. If Overdrive is the only, so this is another thing. It's really important that if your device is only capable of having Overdrive, now would be the time to get that set up on that device so that once it becomes unavailable, you still have access to it. And you can still use that device to get Overdrive and access the materials that you wouldn't be able to once they get rid of that app altogether. So in other words, Libby is the one you want to use. If you can use Libby, definitely use Libby. This is for your tablets and smartphones. However, if you can only, it's a little bit older device, you can only use Overdrive, now is the time to download and use it because it is going to be phased out and people won't be able to download it on their devices anymore. So it's good to get it set up so that when that time happens, you still are going to be able to have access to it. Now, eventually, I don't know how many months or years into the future, they usually go through things very slowly. It's been about 4 years since they've said we're going to eventually get rid of Overdrive. And now is the first time they announced that in a certain time in the future, it's not going to be available to download anymore, but people can still use it. But keep in mind, it is a process in which they're going to stop allowing people to use eventually. And in that case, the device that you're using is typically a lot older. I get it. I hold on to things. They still work. Why replace it? But that it is an unfortunate thing that the companies no longer want to support because of how old certain devices are. All right, e-readers and MP3 players. So an e-reader is something you might have heard of. It's a Kindle or a Nook. Those are devices that its primary purpose is to read ebooks on. And they are a great thing and if you're only wanting to read ebooks. A lot of people like them because of the way that they look. It's the most, like the closest thing you can get digitally to what a book looks and feels like. The pages are kind of, they look like the pages in a book. It's just on like a tablet-like device. And you can read it in the sun. You can add a ton of books on it. It's interesting the way that the screen looks. It uses something called electronic ink, and it looks very similar to the font or how it feels to read a book in a physical aspect. So these are just devices that you can access ebooks on and look at ebooks on. And a lot of, for the beach, for example, if you're at the beach, it's a little bit easier, or a lot easier actually, to read an ebook on a e-reader than it would be on a tablet. But I mean, if that's the only reason why you're buying it, I would go with a tablet because you can get all of the other resources that we have available, and you have more control over how you're reading it. So it really depends. It's a personal preference, and it's something that if you have it or not. Again, we can go over the pros and cons and see which is best for you if you're looking to buy or purchase one of these, or you don't know if you should get a tablet or an e-reader. Call us, set up an appointment. We can walk you through for your needs what the best thing is, depending on what you want and how you want to use it. Okay, another important thing is, do you want to download it or stream it? I'm gonna just kind of reserve this for the appointment that you make with the computer trainer because we're about 40 minutes in, but I do want to spend some time on the other resources just so you're aware of them. But it is important to know, if you download something, it's on your device. If you're streaming it, you need constant internet connection. So streaming is something like, it doesn't take up space on your device, but you need to have a constant access to the internet. Downloading is something you would do to add it to your device. So you would need internet initially to put it on your device, but then it's there. You can have it for the however long the checkout limit is for. Typically, you download things when you're going on vacation, or if you're on an airplane, you don't have Wi-Fi. So if you're traveling, or if maybe you don't have internet at home, you could go to the library, download it to your device, put it on there. It's saved. You don't need internet after to read it, and then it just goes away once the period, your checkout limit has expired. Okay, so registration, again, we talked about this a little bit. I would definitely give us a call if you have not registered for an account. We can walk you through that process. All right, so that is the extent of Overdrive and some of the other eMedia we talked about. This is the 2 links that you can use. I'm going to go to our website, which is the slcl.org website. So let me do this. So I'm going to slcl.org. And it's going to take you to the St. Louis County Library website, where you can find certain things that we've talked about. Now, first, the way that our website's set up is it has these tabs on the top. And if you're on a tablet, there might be a little menu over here, depending on the size of your screen, which has 3 lines. It's called the Hamburger Menu. And it's called the Hamburger Menu because it has 3 lines. It's kind of like the bun, the meat, and the, I guess the bun. It's kind of goofy. I wish I had a little example to show you, but in any case, you have these tabs at the top. If you're on your phone or tablet, you might have a little menu, the hamburger device that you tap on to be able to access these tabs. On the computer, each of these tabs can be hovered over. So what that means is I'm placing my mouse over the text, but I'm not actually clicking on it. Okay, and then it expands the list. So for instance, if I want to get to our electronic media, I would hover over books, eMedia, and more, click on eMedia, and then it takes us to how to access those services. So for Overdrive, I click Overdrive, and it takes me to Overdrive. Okay, this is what it looks like on a website. All right, I'm going to go back to, oh, probably shouldn't have done that. Let me go back to our website. Okay, so I'm going to go back to eMedia, and Hoopla, Canopy, both available as well. So let's talk about those 2, some of the stuff that they have. Canopy first. This is such a rich collection. It has the Criterion collection, if you're familiar with the Criterion collection, movies or items that have an important cultural significance, or just there's a few other criteria. I think that might be the big one, but one of the ones that comes to mind is like the Charlie Chaplin movies. Charlie Chaplin movies can sometimes be difficult to find or are very expensive. And those are available on here. So all of these titles are ones that are available on there. You can browse. Let's just see what's available. A ton of documentaries, tons of PBS documentaries, world cinema. I don't know if any of you have seen that. I believe this won an Academy or an Oscar. Biographies. Those are fun. A ton of documentaries. And then if you're interested in more things, you could always search if it's something that is available. I'm gonna go back here. And then if I want to browse movies, let's see if they can. Oh, that's cool. I'd love that. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm going to go back to search and type in great courses. Okay. So here are some of the great courses. How to make, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Paella.
Paella, I think.
Oh, okay. So how to create that. And then also just a ton of other stuff. the Old Testament as literature, a Russian past, and the Putin future. Putin future. Why study the Greek world? Beethoven and the piano. Why mathematics works so well with physics? The locomotive of history. This one's pretty cool. I think, yeah, this is so it's from the Gale Courses. Talks about mathematics and how it's connected to physics. So the Gale Courses, remember, you can watch as many of these as you want for free. These do not take up your 10 credits per month. And these are so cool. I think it's top tier, in my opinion, educational and top tier information in regards to the content that they provide and the stuff that they go over. And if you were to go to the Gale Courses website, you would typically find that the courses run pretty expensive. So history, this one's $25, but this one's $234. So the quality of them are very high, and a lot of work goes into them. So some of them are pretty expensive for free. That's awesome. All right, so Canopy is one of them that we mentioned. And then Hoopla. Hoopla is the other one. So let's go to Hoopla. Hoopla is, again, one of those ones that works like Canopy. You can check out 10 titles per month. I'm going to show you some of the titles that are available on there. So audiobooks. This audiobook, Harry Potter, is always the first one, and a few of the other ones is always something that's checked out. It always has like a hold list on it. You can get it on here instead and use one of your credits and get it instantly. Here's another one, Death on the Nile, that the movie came out. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie. Again, my mom's really into murder mystery stuff, so she likes those types of movies. Some other types of content, Women's History Month. Let's go to browse. So you have television, popular TV shows, Father Brown, Discovery of Witches, Acorn. So I mentioned that before. You have Acorn. You also have great courses on here too. So fighting misinformation. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of great courses on here as well. But Midsummer Murders. So just a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of crafting stuff as well. All things Irish, I guess, for St. Patrick's Day, BBC stuff. If you have children, grandchildren, or you're babysitting, whatever the case may be, or if you're just into it too, that's, I like Legos. I still play with Legos. But that's something, you could put on for whomever, Miss Marple. So just a lot of content, a lot of educational stuff like yoga and things like that too. A lot of Acorn stuff here. All right, that's free to use. Again, if you're a St. Louis County Library District resident, and that is the 10 title per month limit though. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to talk about is on our website, so slcl.org. Under the Using the Library tab, there is a part there underneath personalized learning. So using the library, personalized learning, and then book a trainer. So let's click on that. And it takes us to a form that you fill out, which goes to the training department, and hopefully within 72 hours, usually pretty quickly, depending on how many requests there are. Sometimes the same day, usually within at least 72 hours, we'll contact you and set up a time appointment to go over the thing that you want to talk about. Depending on the topic and time, we might want to have multiple appointments, and it's really by availability. So it depends, on your availability and the trainer's availability. It might take a series of weeks, depending on how in-depth or the topic that you want is. Usually they last about 15-20 minutes, go as long as an hour, and typically it's kind of like a troubleshooting thing. So you've got help you get set up, You practice it on your own, use it on your own. Good thing to do would be to write down questions that you have, compile those questions together, and then set up an appointment for us to meet with you. So that's best use of everyone's time, right? And you can get multiple questions answered at once, and then you can help out with that. You get help with that. Now, there's also a library main line that you can call, right? So 314-994-3300. That's a library's phone number that you can call. And there's an extension, or if you just go through the prompts, you can get sent to a voicemail that you can leave a message on, and we can get back to you same way as this. So you can submit this form, you can leave a message on our like eMedia voicemail. If you just, it's kind of like you just go through the prompts. They'll ask, press 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 for this, and then they'll take you to the EV.
What's the number again?
It is 314-994-3300.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And then the other thing you could do is just simply call that number and tell them, I would like to set up an appointment with a computer lab trainer, or I would like to book a trainer. And the customer connect department will be able to help you set that up as well. Okay. Last thing here, and then we'll go into some questions. Events and classes. Or first, let me show you something that's kind of cool. So we have, using the library, we have not only e-courses, but maybe in the future, something else we could talk about. E-courses are these other Headspace for a big thing right now is mindfulness. So they have Headspace. This is a service that costs money. Kind of cool. You get it for free with a library card. We have a lot of e-courses. Creative Bug, something you can use for crafts. Very high quality stuff. Much better than things you might find on YouTube, developed by trained professionals. Gale Courses, these are like college classes in a way. You sign up for a course, it takes 6 weeks to complete. You have an actual instructor that you can communicate online. Everything is online. You're assigned homework. You have a pass or fail completion grade that you can get. They don't count. It depends on what you're taking, but it's not credit that you can use. But it's cool because it's like if you wanted to take a class at your local community college or university, and you'd pay hundreds of dollars for, you might be able to find it on here for free. Learning Express, a great resource for those in high school or maybe thinking about career advancement. Mango Languages, this other one, if you're wanting to learn a foreign language, this is normally another service that you pay for. It's like 20 bucks a month or something, and you can get access to a bunch of foreign languages, and it teaches you how to do it in the native tongue, and it kind of incorporates things like slang and cultural differences and how, cultural lessons with the languages in addition to grammar and things. So it's a really comprehensive way to learn a foreign language for free. And there's an app you can download, and it's really great. LinkedIn, this is one of the best resources I think the library has, in my opinion. It's something that costs a lot of money per month if you don't get it for free through the library, but it has some of the highest quality tutorials and courses and instructional videos you can find for not only electronics, but things like management. If you're wanting to learn video design or editing a website or creating a website, all kinds of technology related, and also more professional development related things as well. Great website to use. Maybe not apply to you, but may be someone you know. All right, the last thing is events and classes. If I hover over that or just simply click on it, I can use these different boxes here. And for instance, if I want to learn more about computer classes that are coming up, click in the event type box. If you're interested in author events, you can find those. Computer classes, I'm going to click on that, and then it shows you all of the upcoming computer classes. And most of these are virtual. We're getting back to in-person and possibly in April, but we also have a lot of virtual programs that work just like this Zoom presentation does. If you want to get more assistance with that, again, you could call the library's main line or fill out a request. I would probably just call so that you can get registered really quickly. They'll help you get registered. And then we'll help you out with that. But I do want to pause on that so that we can answer some questions here. I do appreciate everyone's enthusiasm and appreciation for coming to this. And hopefully we'll see some of you in the future.
So Jerry, do you have a question?
Yeah, first of all, I want to compliment the gentleman on an excellent program, and also the county library, which has done a magnificent job of providing information for us, especially during the COVID. I just learned now that when I was on the trip, I couldn't read my book on Wi-Fi. I should have downloaded it instead, so I'm learning. But the question is, I took many courses primarily in Word several years ago before COVID, and these were with instructors. I saw them at Saks. They were excellent. Will you be having them fairly soon?
So the in-person classes, again, is that what you said, sir?
Yeah, on various subjects, and they give you a printout of that. It was excellent.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for more on different subjects. Definitely.
So we should be slowly rolling back into in-person programs starting in April, but it should happen, but it's not a guarantee. We've kind of gone back and forth with how COVID has. With the current trend in how COVID is, though, it does seem like we'll be having in-person classes again in April, and just programs in general at the library, and slowly kind of building up to how it used to be with full capacity classes and things like that.
Well, thank you very much. Did a very good job.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Do we have more questions? Not today. Okay, wonderful. Well, Farid, did you have any more information that you wanted to share, or?
Yeah, so for just in general, I would browse the library's website. You would be amazed at all the things that we have, and depending on what you're looking for, we even have a ton of research databases. A lot of people aren't aware of just how much money or how much their taxes go into for services and things like that. Genealogy, if you're interested in your history, depending on whatever circumstances, I know it could be difficult, but depending on your family history and how it was documented, it is possible to get your genealogy through Ancestry or through other various records that would be very difficult to find otherwise. A ton of people use that resource to get their history. Not available for me because there's not too much in the Asian database. And if you're one of your parents, or if your parents were an orphan, not really much either. But for most people, it's something that's a really great resource. Another thing you can use is our research databases. So we have resources such as A to Z Food America. It has, going back to the 1940s, TV commercials. It has cookbooks from a long time ago, and cookbooks from 50 states, and historic cookbooks from the 1700s, and how to cook certain things, how-to videos. It is such a fun one. There's a ton of other resources, databases like that one. For learning more about the databases, or just to get someone to go through with you, you can schedule a time with one of our reference librarians, and they can go through. If you're looking for stock stuff, the stuff that is expensive, you can also get access to it for free. I want to say like Mergent or Morningstar investment, that's on there for free. A lot of people pay for it normally, but you can get it through your library card for free. So it's worth keeping note of the resources that maybe you pay for, and then seeing if it's available for free through your library card.
So I do have a quick question. So if you start browsing and then you come to a point of, now, how do I find like something you just said? But you just can't find it. And so would you recommend to call the just the main line 994?
Yes, so I would
Or
recommend, sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you could, yeah, you would call, one quick thing here. I'm going to show my screen again, and I'm going to show you something else. Not the, all right. So you can not only call, but you can also use something. So if I click research, for instance, or anywhere on, there's usually a little chat green
Oh,
button, and you can chat with the reference department, and they can either get you to what you're looking for or assist you just like we would to get to that answer in one way or forward it to the person. So
oh, great. So like I'm looking for Hoopla and for whatever reason I can't find it. I can click on chat and
Mhm.
say, I can't find Hoopla, and they can help.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Okay.
can't find Hoopla, and they would send me the link right there. And see, it's pretty quick. So it's available during library hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was very, very helpful. And, depending on, how many questions come in, or there's some people that obviously didn't come today, but we recorded this today. So if anybody would like to review, this is recorded. It will be available on our website. And then we can send that recording to the other people that weren't able to attend today. And so then they can, start having some fun on the
Definitely. Yeah.
library website. It looked like fun to me. So
Agree.
I, I really thank you very much, Farid. And you had a couple of colleagues on today too. I think it was Robin, and I forgot the other gentleman's name, but thank you, St. Louis County Library, for this and this program. And I think this was also oh, there they are. Thank you very much for being with us today. We really appreciate everything you have done for us. And the program was also sponsored. We had a grant from the Women's Auxiliary Foundation for Jewish Aid. So again, thank you, everyone. Thank you for reading, and we'll be in touch and see if we can maybe do a little more in depth sometime.
Sounds great. I look forward to that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.